Welcome back to Shadow Generations with me, Matthew Caddis, aka Puggy. So today we will go to Act 2 of Rail Canyon, something that I originally couldn't find the footage for, so I had to re-record it, which, unlike with Banjo-Kazooie, is a lot easier. I originally just included all the footage of me going through the levels, dare I say it, afterwards, not the levels afterwards, the challenge acts that we went through later, and I will keep that footage there, but because of that, yeah, I did want to keep this in. And why not? It's a fairly shorter act compared to Act 1, no sign of the thing, although it does make use of these switches, which, of course, were the bane of my existence with both Team Dark and Team Chaotix in Sonic Heroes. Less so in Shadow Generations because it still has the boost gameplay here. So yeah, though jumping off can be a bit tedious with those flying enemies, if you know what I mean. But yeah, nothing too hard at all, really. I think the thing that stunts your progress is those spike balls, really. But yeah, and would you know it, the rhinos, as Charmy called them, are here as well. As well as the electric flying robots. I don't know what those were called because, yeah, I know there were egg bishops and egg knights and whatnot, but yeah. And even the giant red train plays about in the background as well. More on that later because I think we will certainly form part of it because you can see it's causing a bit of mayhem in the background there. And indeed it will catch up with us at some point, will that train. Indeed we'll probably have to use chaos control just to deal with that. Meanwhile the rhinos are moving about up there as well. Yep, and apparently Sega decided to borrow from, believe it or not, Seaside Hill here in Rail Canyon. The only other Sonic Heroes level that's maybe represented in Sonic Heroes, not Sonic, Sonic Generations and everything. So let's go down here, and this actually gets a really nice camera angle behind Shadow for a few seconds. Before, indeed, we end up going back to 2D again. Seriously. The potential for a fully 3D Sonic game has not been realised, I say. At least not with the modern engine. I suppose you did have that with the adventure games and Heroes, but yeah. Don't get it with the modern ones. It switches to 2D. And why not? The boost formula did work for a decent while, even though Sega did experiment with Lost World and everything. Don't get me started on forces though. Now here, what I should have really done is use Chaos Control to evade the giant train crashing into the thing there. Unfortunately, there aren't any capsules that will give... Actually, no, I'm wrong, there is one there. You can also actually double jump over the train to avoid it that way, while it goes up into the siding and causes even more trouble. Yeah, the train is late indeed, and then comes barreling down on you in a similar way to the gun truck in City Escape. Except this time the train goes barreling down into the canyon, never to be seen again, I guess. I guess you can't count on the bitch. Well, they're not showing up in this universe. Hello and welcome back to Shadow Generations with me, Matthew Caddis, aka Puggy. So once you have actually unlocked all of the acts, what will happen is that you will gain access to, again, the challenge acts. The difference with this game is that, unlike with Sonic Generations, Shadow Generations, because the white space, shall we say, in the game is more based off of 3D, or should I say is in full 3D, it means Shadow can actually, well, not easily, we'll have to look for them basically, so yeah, and it kind of varies. Likewise with the with Sonic Generations, if you do complete a challenge act, you will gain the ability to unlock some artwork or music, just like before. The difference is because of the 3D map and everything in white space in Shadow's gameplay, it does mean that it's quite a bit harder to do because of that. Most of the challenge acts are mostly based off of a quote and must be done. Yeah, it's not like with the ones in Sonic Generations where Sonic can go with his friends and whatnot. Oh no. Which does get rather repetitive after a while. That's the one thing I will give Shadow Generations. Main stages and boss fights I do actually love, but the these challenge acts I'm not so much of a fan of, to be honest. With the exception of a couple, I suppose. Well, not just a couple, that's a bit unfair. But yeah. I'm guessing that's also the case. Also, they can be a bit short, a lot of them. Seriously, this one based off of Rail Canyon definitely is. And that's another thing, seriously. Again, that was also the thing in, Sonic Generations, but yeah. And if you're wondering why I don't have the Fruitifer thing, I have looked with a fine-tooth comb for it and I cannot find it. Seriously, so yeah. So that is why. Once you have done, I think, about all of the challenge acts, what will happen is that you will unlock the thing there. So yeah. So that being said, then there's the matter of chasing down each of the things. We'll also have noted that there are various amounts of Black Arms space aliens on the map now. We'll get to them in a moment because they do serve a purpose. Though strangely, unlike in Shadow the Hedgehog, the video game, not the character, they do not seemingly exist in such large numbers, despite Black Doom being the obvious mastermind behind all of this. Seriously. But yeah. And yes, you can change the music as well. Again, just like in Sonic Generations, the problem is because I am. This was also because I'm doing this blind. Well, not completely blind, because this is a Sonic game, after all. This video game does still play easily, so. Yeah, with the exception of some towards the later stages there, I say, where it does get confusing, and more on that later. Also get these moving platforms, so yeah. Other than that, and also rumbling platforms, again, we already had that in Crash Bandicoot, for crying out loud. Seriously, that was a big staple of the generator room level. I absolutely hate it because you had to get all the boxes without dying to get the coloured gem in that one with many stages. Again, Chaos Control can help you in this stage if you're going for to get all the rings, which you have to do actually to get the thing. Not all the rings, but 100 rings. So yeah, and I missed one of the tokens there. If you're not, if I wasn't so careful, but yeah. You kind of get the idea with the these sort of stages anyway, so yeah. Unlike in Sonic Generations, you have to complete them all. I've kind of mentioned that, and you don't have them. Another thing of note that does happen is that you do get other challenges on the map. We've already run into E1, 2, 3 Omega, but also appearing on the map are Orbot and Cubot. Yes, they actually show up in this mode, despite not appearing in Sonic's story, which would have confused the hell out of me. I mean, yes, Robotnik is known for getting rid of his lackeys very quickly, with the possible exception of Agent Stone, because I mean, Agent Stone loves him, but although he did actually get rid of Agent Stone, but It's some waiting for orders from Robotnik, so I don't know. Anyway, that being said, yeah. That's basically the function of, dare I say, challenge acts in the game. I'm not sure if I'll go over more of them, but we'll see. We'll see. With that said, let's actually get to our first boss fight in the game. And it's one that was actually in, dare I say it's, Sonic Generations on the 3DS. Yes, it was. Indeed it was. Anyone who's played the 3DS version will know what I'm talking about here, because even though there was a race between Sonic and Shadow in the 3DS version, yeah, we'll get to that. But for now, I'm trying to get this, but yeah, that's another thing. Me trying to get one of the things. Also, you'll need to get a new Doom power, which is kind of located a bit further on. Seriously, what a badass actually Doom power here as well, so yeah. And yeah, there's even music from Sonic 06. I'm glad the music from that game is getting some love, I'll say that. Also, this is one of the, this nut here, this is one of those that you actually have to collect for Orbot and Q-Bot. So yeah, and let's say, it goes Orbot and Q-Bot. Well, maybe more Q-Bot, to be honest, in getting the thing to get their rocket off the ground, basically, and be reunited with Dr. Eggman. I said Robotnik, but Robotnik is Eggman, seriously. He's just using the thing, his own nickname for that. Seriously, that was even confirmed by the thing. Anyway, that being said, let's go over this way, and oh boy, let's go across here. And yeah, I'll use Chaos Control. I must have already got the Doom power, but never mind. Basically, using the black arms, what you will do is that you'll launch them into the air, and Shadow will homing attack them while they're suffering. Seriously. What about kicking an alien when you're down? Seriously, I mean, what? Seriously. Anyway, the boss that's coming up is none other than the Biolizard. Yep, I'm gonna say that now, it's the Biolizard. Though it's kind of a bit different than in Sonic Generations on the 3DS, because Shadow will appear here, and he will run into the Biolizard as well. So I'm guessing this is Cannon's core. And indeed, the Biolizard will appear just like it did in thing. Much less scary, I'll say. But yeah, here's the Biolizard. And the one thing I will say about this fight, it starts off just as in Sonic Adventure 2, and that's the Biolizard will try and attack you with its tail. You have to avoid its mouth, and then ground along the grind rail behind its mouth and everything. So yeah, seemingly the time at when the Biolizard pretty much stops chomping at you, although it does do the annoying dare I say, spheres of doom, as it were. You jump over the ones on the ground, you jump over and you I don't know if Shadow actually has the thing. Then you attack his power back, and Shadow pretty much auras the living crap out of the thing. However, this is where things changes with the Biolizard, because now seemingly some wires come out of its power pack on the back of its back, and it will start to fly, growing these giant membranes, I will say, or something like that, which it will use to attack you. Seriously, that is a thing here. The way to deal with it is to use Chaos Control. Unlike with Dragon Maleficent with the fire, at least you are given fair warning as to when the Biolizard is going to pound you. Seriously, that will... yeah, I'm going to equate this to the fight with the thing. The other thing of note, this again does have a remix of Supporting Me, but the one thing that is missing is the lyrics, seriously. Yes, granted, the Forces remix did indeed have Everett Bradley's lyrics, but yeah, for whatever reason, the in-game version of this song does not have the actual lyrics to Supporting Me. What little there were of the song, it may be iconic for anyone who's played Sonic Adventure 2. But yeah, for whatever reason, no. Which is weird because on the soundtrack, it does actually have the lyrics. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, it actually has the lyrics. Anyway, enough of me moaning about the music here. Oh, and also he has a huge ground pound, seemingly does the Biolizard. He'll jump in the air and do that. And then his wings will get stuck in the ground for a slight second. Unfortunately, I do not have access to Chaos Control at the moment, so I can't use it to hit him while he's down, as it were. But yeah, that is a thing. And then he jumps into the air again. Absolutely. In fact, even more so, I will say this about the Supporting Me remix before I go on, in that the guitars are much more pronounced here, even though more so than in the Forces remix, which, yeah, I'm gonna say Jun Sonoi added a lot more to that one. He's definitely added a bit more to this one as well, because it plays the melody to, of course, Live and Learn, which is probably the only appearance of Live and Learn, which is fair, because Live and Learn does appear in the Sonic 3 movie, so fine. Anyway, what you have to do is to attack the Biolizard while he's doing all this, is use Chaos Control and attack the giant blobs on his wings. Not easy to do when I don't have enough Chaos Energy, to use a terminology from the Sonic 3 movie again. But yeah, you can actually attack the things there while he's down. Then homie attack and go straight for the power pack on his back, yada yada yada, and pretty much do that, seriously. The downside is if there are enough blobs on his back, then you're pretty much screwed here, seriously. Such as there. And why I'm firing off a load of spears there, I don't know what the hell I'm doing there, but never mind, ground pound, and we will redo that. But never mind that. Seriously, Shadow really does a lot of damage to the Biolizard. Yes, he's the prototype of the ultimate life form, but for crying out loud. And now what's he doing? Well, he is bringing out a lot of nodes around the thing, putting into his life support system, and activating seemingly some sort of super attack. Seriously, which is not great. So what we have to do indeed is to pretty much go shooter mode and use the Doom Spheres to pretty much get rid of the homing shots, to borrow from Sonic Generations. Yeah, seriously, those definitely do look like homing shots. Look out, Shadow! Seriously. Chaos Control will definitely help you get past these things. So, yeah. And also, if you lose your rings, you can obviously use the invincibility frames. That works, of course. But only so much, of course, and you don't want to run out of rings. And then this happens, it creates a giant ball of energy, similar to the Time Eater, although Shadow literally just goes all Dragon Ball and kicks it into the air, seriously. Negative Karma Ball, no thank you. And then Shadow again just again goes all JoJo on the thing and explodes the Biolizard, serious, or makes the Biolizard explode. Seriously, that was insane. That was insane.
Black Doom. I destroyed you once. I will do it again.
You defeated unite my forces and consume the world.
Show yourself. We'll finish this here and now.
You are not ready yet. We are not ready yet. Once you have been